Aloha, it's Monday. I'm here with Johnny, aka Saint Johnny, aka Surf Master Flex. I don't know, he's got a lot of nicknames. It's hard to keep track of, but anyway, we're back here
Uh,
with another episode of the Maui Hot List Hulahan. Johnny, what are we up
right.
to today?
Should we call it Mana Mondays?
Mana
Mana
Mondays?
Mondays. Yeah. Mana is such a powerful word in Hawaiian. It literally means like your life force, right? Your mana. So Mondays, we started off with a bang, and then we ended up with Happy Aloha Friday. No work till Mana Monday. So, Danny, I thought we'd dive into our normal hot list today. And then at the very end of it, we had a request to just kind of talk about what it's like to live on the different areas on Maui. So we'll do that at the very end. Everybody's welcome to stick around for both portions there, but just kind of wanted to give a little update on the edition that we have here today. So
Absolutely. So shout
let's
out.
do it.
Thanks for the comments. Thanks for the questions. If you watching this
Absolutely.
have a question, you have a topic you want us to explore with you, drop it in the comments. We will address it in the next video.
We wiggle like puppies when we see the comments, guys. So thank you so much for doing that. All righty. So we got 28 on the hot list here today, Danny. Let me do my little thing here and let's jump in. So here we've got a Kaanapali Shores unit there. Beautiful view of Molokai. Started out at $1,120,000 because of that view right there. It's a 1-bedroom, 1-bath. Been on the market 207 days now, and we've backed it down to $897,777. Maintenance fees here $1,651. Kaanapali Shores is zoned hotel. These maintenance fees here, my understanding, include everything, including the electricity. Am I correct there, Danny?
That's correct.
Alrighty, moving on past that one there. Got another Kaanapali Shores here. So this one looking like a bit of a value play here. So we're looking at $900 for a direct, beautiful view there in a 1-bedroom, 1-bath. This is a 2-bedroom, 2-bath for $1,050,000. They backed this one down from $1,490,000. So maintenance fees on a 2-bath, $2,176. Man, that's looking like a deal there, Danny.
Sure is. What do you think about Hotel Zone kind of coming down so quickly in price like this?
You know, it's just getting caught up in all the uncertainty from Minatoya. Also, these escalating maintenance fees because of insurance are adding to the uncertainty. And so that's being reflected in the price. And what's going to happen is at some point, I mean, all these issues are going to be worked through. Potentially insurance comes down a bit. And so we probably see these fees start to drift lower. And more importantly, we'll start seeing more and more people coming to Maui. And I expect these values go up. It's funny, though, we are herd like animals when it comes to certain things like buying real estate, like what we saw during COVID, you know, just everybody going with the herd. And when they do that, we overpay. And more importantly, we lose the ability to negotiate because there's so much competition. And then we start having to give up all the different contingencies that are there to protect buyers. So I've always subscribed to what Warren Buffett says, you know, we should be greedy when others are fearful. And this kind of price action here tells me that people are fearful. So I'll say it once again, if Minatoya does happen and all those condos get reverted back to residential, we are seeing the bottom in the hotel zone here, brother. I firmly believe that. Mahana, one of my faves, living on a cruise ship. This is on the 8th floor, so you're up above the coconut trees. $1,225,000 for a 1-bedroom. They do live larger there, 820 square feet. But man, the Mahana just did a major facelift. So the spalling, which is the actual, call it concrete exterior, the roof, all of that has been replaced. So that's being reflected here in the maintenance fees. Yes, that is almost $5,000 a month for a 1-bedroom, 1-bath. Still a fan. There's no place like it.
There isn't. Those views are incredible.
They really, really are. Whaler, so this is a fractional here. That is your view from your 1-bedroom, 1-bath, 901 square feet. What are we purchasing? Well, we're purchasing the week of September 5th through September 19th. So you're picking up 2 weeks in the shoulder season, and you could pick that up for $75,000. Come out here every single year. Doesn't tell me what the fees are. I'm trying to poke around, but I don't see what those are. Look at that price reduction there, though, Danny. 98,000 down to 75,000 there.
Coming down.
It is. Moving past that one. So this one's interesting. On the island of Molokai, 300 acres. Originally priced at $2 million just over 2 months ago. Dropped at $1.8 million. One of the TMKs, you're actually purchasing 12 different parcels here. TMK stands for tax map key. You're actually also picking up this fish pond here. So this is what the ancient Hawaiians would call their refrigerator here. So they would make it to where they would have some different areas where small fish could come through different slats. And then they'd grow up in this area here where it was safe from other predators, and they'd get too big to go back out. And so whenever we needed to go get fish, you just take your little canoe and your net, and boom, that's your refrigerator right there, brother. So
Hawaiian refrigerator. Now
that seems like a deal, yeah? 1.8 for 300 acres.
A lot of land.
Yep, Papakea. Here we go. 2-bedroom, 2-bath. Papakea is a little unusual. 2 zonings here. Apartment 2, and then also zoned hotel. Don't know what's going to happen. My wife's actually working here today as a concierge, so it really is run like a resort. Almost $2,000 for the maintenance fees there. That's a direct oceanfront 2-bedroom, 2-bath for $1,475,000. I want to say back in the boom times, dude, that would have been listed for maybe $1,800,000.
Absolutely. Up front.
Yep. So Kalepa Place. This one's interesting. Royal Kaanapali. I'm going to show you where this guy is at. So I was a little bit mistaken. I thought that this was in the neighborhood that's directly across the street from Roy's, which, oops, sorry guys. Why won't it move for me, Danny? Oh, there it is. So anyway, it's down here closer to where International Colony Club is. In fact, that's how you access this area here.
Right at the end of that road, yeah.
Yeah, so this one here, you know, it is listed. There is the disclaimer in there that this guy actually has a legal vacation rental license. However, it will not transfer. So just so people understand, if you want to vacation rent an actual house, a standalone house here on Maui, the law reads that you need to own it for 5 years, and then you could submit the permit to the county. There is a bunch of hoops to jump through. They don't really want to approve vacation rentals in houses unless they make sense. But in case you're curious, that's the scoop there. So some ocean views, 4,300 square feet, built in 1975, but redone in 2016. Lives large, 5 bedrooms, 5.5 baths. Still feels a little aspirational for me at $5,450,000. Danny, what say you?
A little bit.
We shall see. I have eaten my words a lot.
We don't see those come up. To its credit, we don't see those come up very often in that neighborhood.
No,
that might be the first one I've ever seen.
particular one. Yep, it is a small little enclave there for sure. Haleonaloa, unit 105, 625 for a 1-bedroom, 1-bath. Those have come down a bit. 558 square feet. Maintenance fees $1,300,000. I do not believe that that's the unit you're buying there, gang. It is going to be on the lower level. Just don't know exactly where. So pools over here, and then you've got that little enclave of direct oceanfront ones that sit below here. So it's right in that area.
It's right
there.
by our clients that sold. They sold 102.
That's
Remember
right.
that one?
That's right. So just a little more forward, it felt like there towards the ocean.
Yeah,
So
they
here
did
we got.
well though. They sold for 700. Now we're down to 625. So they got to be
There
feeling good
you
about it.
go. Got them out there, Danny, at the nick of time. Pukalani here on the golf course, 1,399 gets you 1,335 square feet on a fairly standard residential lot of 7,597. It, it's a cool space to live in there. And that looks like a nicely remodeled space there, redone in 2024. That looks like an attractive home to me there. Here we have the Masters. So the Masters has always been residential. They do live large. That's 1,512 square feet, 2 bedroom, 2 bath. So these make great alternatives to an actual house if you want a more lock and leave. And then also great second homes. Beautiful views of the Royal Course, and then also Molokai there. 1,500,000 gets you a 2 bedroom, 2 bath. 1,480 for the square feet or for the maintenance fees. Lots of amenities there, multiple pools, tennis courts, etc. I like the Masters. I am thinking, Danny, I may send this to somebody because he really loves the views of Molokai as an alternative to Kapalua.
There you go.
Alrighty, flats at Kamalani, 779, 2 days on the market, 3 bedroom, 2 bath, 3,807. I'm going to imagine that's an upstairs unit, maybe. So maintenance fees here, $595. These are newer, gang, built in 2017. Super convenient, North Kihei location. You're right off of Veterans Highway. I mean, you can be at Target and all that good stuff in what, 20 minutes, 15 minutes tops.
Easy peasy.
Yep, Kaiko'o. So this is in Paukakalu. So this is vacant land, probably looking at something right there. 6878 square footage for the lot, looking at 470 there. So Paukakalu is close to the ocean, also technically in a flood zone. So just know you may have to pick up some flood insurance. Great surf spot there called Big Lefts. Got a house for rent here. That's $4,700, guys. That's in Kihei. That gets you a 3 bedroom, 2 bath, 1,200 square feet. Hale Mahialani, 429, 1 bedroom, 1 bath. This one is leasehold. The one thing that I do know about Hale Mahialani is they do not have any plans to extend the lease here. That's coming up in 2036. So the expectation is you would get to enjoy this for approximately 12 more years, and then it would revert back to the owners of the land. So this is actually a lot in my dad's old neighborhood here. And you know what's fascinating to me, Danny, is I am not watching Lahaina lots fly off the market. And that was one of the big concerns, right? Felt like there was going to be some sort of land grab. There's fear of outside investors, people not from Hawaii coming and buying up the land. It is not happening. Now, this area was built workforce housing. This was very high density, so the square footage on the lots is not very large. That's 4,000 feet, $540,000. People said pass, 79 days on the market. This one here, too, in the Laniopoku kind of area, Haniu area, 2.5 million. This was all of it, not CPR'd here. Got you almost 13 acres, but they decided to cancel that listing there. Cancel this guy here too, Danny. Direct ocean front for 5.45 million. Feels like a deal to me. Came with an additional house. So you got this 3 bedroom, 3 bath, 1,309 square feet built in 1960. And you got an additional 2 bedroom, 3 bath house of 1,156 square feet that sat right in front of it. I do feel that the accessibility to the home may have been a slight issue. Just to give everybody their bearings here, Kuau area. So this would be Mama's off to this area here. And then this is where that particular lot was. So you can see getting into and off of the little Hana Highway there. It can be a little fun. That may be the reason why it didn't sell. I like that vibe though, man.
It's a cool looking spot.
Gives off some old Hawaii vibes with all that asphalt shingle and whatnot there.
It does.
All right. Kalealoha, 1 bedroom, 1 bath. That was a trophy unit there. Direct ocean front, but left it at 888. Nobody stepped up to said, I'll take it. 1109 for the maintenance fee there. These are zoned apartments, so that could be part of it. Kihei Villages, upstairs unit, back down 76,000. And they said, we'll just hold on to it now. 826 for the maintenance fees there. That was a full 2-bath there, Danny. So that one is special.
Things have changed. Even got the ocean view. Those were $750.
Super sought after. And though, but you and I talk about it quite a bit. When I jumped back into residential real estate myself, late 2019, early 2020, these were what, 250, 300? Easy. And lots of inventory in there. So starting to see some steps back to affordability, but we are still not back to sub-COVID limits. So this one here in Wailuku Parkside, it went into escrow fairly quickly after the price reduction, but contingent upon escrow canceling. So this status tells us they're going to throw it back on the market to sale, but they need to get all the signatures to formally cancel it at the escrow title company. So that one's coming back. Somebody wants a second shot. This one here, unit 815, close to one we just closed on for a client of ours in the 9 building. $1,120,000 after $1,350,000 start price. $1,129 for the maintenance fees there. $184 on the market. They decided to pull the listing. There are some small special assessments at Kapalua Ridge to shore up the insurance premiums that they're getting hit with. Here we are, Molokai Shores, just down the street from my childhood home at the Heights. 1 bedroom, 1 bath, $565 for the maintenance fees. After 346 days on the market, they decided to let that one expire. Looking at a Kihei Villages that went into escrow, started at 659. Dude, almost backed it down a full 100,000. There's a 2 bedroom, 1.5 bath configuration. It is a second floor unit, so won't have the yard, but looks like it's been nicely upgraded there. That's in escrow now. Haleakala Gardens, starting to see these come to market more affordably, but it looks like this one sold before listed. That is 0 days on market there, $675, small maintenance fee of $582. Well priced, as we can see.
Curious on the story on those. There was a few 3 bedrooms, 2 baths hanging for a while, and 7 kept dropping the price. They weren't really moving, but this one seemed to find a suitor pretty quickly.
Well, when it looks great like this does here, Danny, you get it all set up nicely. The pictures make sense and are an actual tour through the home. It's amazing what happens, isn't it? Well done. So this one, my buddy was the agent on, so I'm curious if he bought it for himself. But this is on the lower road here in Kahana. A lot of these homes here are chopped up into multiple rental units. We're looking at 1975 square feet when it listed for $1,850,000. Did have an attached ohana, so there it is. This is actually a 5 bedroom, 3 bath home. We've got 2 bedrooms, 1 bath, 500 square feet as an attached ohana. So my buddy picked it up for $1,750,000 cash. Well done. Makali'i at Wailea. I did a little snooping on this one here, dude. So the actual agent that was selling this complex picked this place up herself for $1,500,000, closed on it in 20, and then just sold it for $3,175,000 this year. Well played.
That's it. Always buy the new construction on Maui.
Maui new construction, guys. Takes 2 to 3 years to build. By the time it's done, you will have equity. Napili Villas, 650. I don't like to see this one here, Danny. Sold for 615. Oh, I remember when this was listed, 785. Man, somebody just wanted to get rid of that one. Woo! Maui Royale took this one off the market temporarily. A 1-bedroom, 2-bath. Been on the market for 62 days. This is a well-loved residential community. Lots of different amenities there, multiple pools. Does have an actual hot tub. Does have tennis courts and basketball up on top. It is a well-loved community. So that's all I have for today on the Hulahan. And now let's jump into a little tour of Maui. Alrighty, gang, here we are. So Danny laughs when I explain this, but to me, Maui looks like Mickey Mouse after he got into a fight and he's missing one of his ears. So this is Haleakala over here. So notice how Maui was created, if you would. We had one giant volcano here, and we had another one over here. So this is Haleakala, means house of the sun. And then over here, we have Mauna Kahalavai, which translates to the house of water. And other times, this area is also called Hale Mahina. There is a valley in the Laniopoko neighborhood, and I have watched at night the full moon come up in the valley, almost to where it looks like it is coming out of there. So anyway, that's the name of this one here. So these two volcanoes happened. They merged together here, and so that's why we're called the Valley Isle. Got this big central valley here. It gets quite windy because we have this, vibe of trade winds that now come through, channeled through these two large volcanoes. And that's why Maui is known for being some of the best wind sports in the world. That's why we have great windsurfing, great foil boarding, kite surfing, etc. So for those of you that don't know it, Maui County is actually made up of all of these islands here. So it is not just Maui. We also incorporate Molokai and also Lanai and then also Kaho'olawe, but there is nobody that lives on Kaho'olawe. A little history lesson. Kaho'olawe used to be used for bombing practice by our military. So they would literally use it for target practice. And back in the late 70s, this is what kicked off the resurgence for the Hawaiian culture, is we started to protest that they were using Kaho'olawe. Kaho'olawe in the past was a launching point if we were going back and forth between Tahiti. So a lot of times this is where all those canoes would take off there. Now, let's talk about topography a bit here. So we've got large volcanoes, and what these volcanoes actually do is they act as a rain shadow for these two islands. So they would not get much rain. There's actually a special little channel that brings rain to Kaho'olawe. My friend Kapono'ai Malatau explained it to me at one point. But they're in rain shadows because of the big volcanoes. So Lanai used to be owned by Dole, the pineapple plantation. And so the pineapple managers were not from Hawaii. They lived in the mainland. And so they actually, when they were over here working on purpose, they planted well over 10,000 evergreen trees. And guess what trees do when they create a forest? They actually attract rain. And so that is how we got rain up here in Lanai City, believe it or not. Alrighty, let's talk about living on Maui. So where you live is going to depend on what you want to do, where you're from, or weather. And a lot of the weather is caused by these volcanoes. So I'll give you an example. Lahaina translates to hot land. That's because we've got the big Mauna Kahalavai that sits right behind it, and it absolutely blocks all of the trade winds. So Lahaina gets very little wind, so it's very still. That's why it's a great harbor location. That's why it was a harbor for the whaling days, and hopefully kicks back off to being used as a harbor here once again as we slowly rebuild Lahaina. But that's the name of Lahaina, hot land, because it's blocked by the big mountain there with the trade winds. Now, pali means hill or cliff, and Kaanapali means rolling hills. So what happens in Kaanapali is now the steep mountain starts to slope off into rolling hills. And by the time we kind of get up here into Pili Kapalua, there's still some mountainy areas, but it's just not quite as high. And so we get trade winds that come through here. So I live up in here. Every morning and every night, I get some sort of rain that happens, lasts for maybe 10, 15 minutes. And that's because of the topography here. And my wife will sometimes wake up and she'll say, "Oh, it's a cloudy day. Maybe we'll just stay in." And I'm like, "Well, babe, maybe if we drove down here, the weather might change." And a lot of times you can see that when it's raining up here, the rain stops once we get to Kaanapali. And that's because the big mountain is blocking the rain down here in Lahaina. And so this is called the leeward area, and this is called the windward area because it's more exposed to the trade winds, which typically come from the northeast. Now, Kihei enjoys similar hot weather to Lahaina, and that's because it's being blocked by Haleakala. So just to give you some understanding, just over 10,000 feet here in elevation, and then Mauna Kahalavai, Pu'ukukui, under 6,000 feet in terms of elevation. So Kihei gets blocked by the winds there, and so that's why Kihei, as you can see here, is very dry. They get very little wind, which is very cool for people that are on vacation. Kihei has great beaches. Kihei is one of our longest beaches, Sugar Beach, which basically you could walk from areas of Ma'alaya for a solid 5 miles or so. You get great beaches down here in Wailea and Makena. So, you know, because of how still it is, a lot of people like to vacation in this area here. Now, what are the differences between Lahaina and the South Shore? You know, I had somebody explain to me that Kihei was developed a little bit later. Sometimes Kihei is called the land of strip malls because they do have quite a few of those there. I've heard some people say that it feels more like you're living in a community on the west side and less of a community vibe over on this side here. In terms of expensive places to live, Wailea Makena, probably some of the most valuable land on Maui. Kapalua to some extent as well. But Wailea Makena, and there's literally a street called Billionaires Row here. Jeff Bezos has his compound somewhere out here, the very end of the road. Steven Tyler has a home. Oprah's somewhere up in this area here in Kula. So you do have a lot of billionaires and a lot of wealth in this area here. Danny, you lived in Kihei. What was your experience there in terms of weather and that sort of thing?
Hot. It's very hot. We first lived in Ma'alaya when we moved to the island, which we absolutely loved. Not for
What'd you
everyone.
love about it? Yeah, what'd you love about it?
Yeah, for us, I mean, it's windy all the time. So it's very comfortable, even on a hot day. Like, we never turned on the AC in several years of living there. We never needed it. It was always comfortable inside. The wind passed through. Sometimes it's annoying when you open your car door and it shuts right back on you because the wind is blowing. But that also seems to keep away the people and the traffic. Just a lot of even local real estate agents don't really know about it, don't really talk about it. A lot of people just kind of go there for their boat trip to Molokini or snorkeling, wherever, and then they just leave. But yeah, we liked just the comfort of it. I mean, everything just in one street. Could walk down to restaurants, could walk down to shops, could walk down to the beach on the other side to Haycroft, and then you could walk all the way to Kihei. Almost 5 miles, sandy beach walk. So yeah, a lot of things to like about it. I mean, there's not a lot for houses there. There's a couple of houses in Matalaya Bay, but it's pretty much all condos. And so if you're not into condo living, might not be a good option. If you don't like wind, probably not a good option. But if you like peace and quiet and a very like small community feel, it definitely has all of that.
There you go, brother. I love that, man. So a lot of people, when they move here from, let's say, the mainland, they tend to move in the areas that they're familiar with because they vacation in these areas. And sometimes they find out that living there is a little bit different than being on vacation because now you're just staying here all the time. And a lot of times people find that it's hot. And so what they do is they bought a vacation condo. Let's say they bought it in Kihei, and then now they decide they're going to stake some roots here, and they move into a house in Kihei. And then after living there for, let's say, 4 to 5 years, they want to move up here to upcountry. So upcountry is what we call Kula, Makawao, Pukalani, and a lot of people feel that this is the Goldilocks zone in terms of weather on Maui. So we're starting to go up, higher elevations, lower Kula, about 1,800, 2,000 feet. You start coming up in that 3,500, square feet or 3,500 foot elevation. Boy, it gets really comfortable. Low 70s. More importantly, living up here, I mean, you're sitting on the slopes of volcanoes, so the views are ridiculous. You get the right house, you literally are getting bi-coastal views of both coasts here. So you're going to find a lot of, understated wealth up in Kula. Some very big compounds. I was just seeing one that was listed, Irwin Ranch. So they listed a compound up there for $8 million, but it had a big, main house and then multiple smaller structures on acreage. So you'll find that up here. Makawao is, and to some extent Pukalani, is kind of known more for our cowboy town here. So Paniolo is the Hawaiian word for cowboy. Cows and horses were introduced by the Spaniards when they came over here. They also incidentally brought over musical instruments that we turned into the ukulele, so that was their influence. They influenced us in terms of cattle raising and also horsemanship. And so the Hawaiian word for that is Paniolo. And up here in Makawao, we've got a famous rodeo that just happened here in the recent past. So people like living up in these areas here, local people, people not from Hawaii just because of the weather there. We do have some excellent private schools up in this area here as well for high schoolers. Seabury Hall is a famous one. If they're native Hawaiian, they can go to Kamehameha Schools Maui. I had two of my sons graduate from there. That is an amazing school as well. This is what we consider central Maui. This is more where, real local life is happening, if you would. Not a whole lot of tourism, although this is where the cruise ship comes in now because they aren't coming into Lahaina. This is where our one mall, we do have a large mall that's here. I guess we have one in Lahaina, and then also one in Wailea, but there's a large one here, Queen Kahumanu Center. This is where our Target, our Costco, court building, the Walmart, all that stuff's happening here. This is where you fly in into the airport. And then as we head towards the North Shore here, you have Paia. Used to be known as more of a hippie town, has a little bit of European flavor to it as well because we got a lot of people from Europe that have come over here for windsurfing and then they've stayed. So Paia's got a cool vibe to it, lots of nice restaurants and shops through there. As you head out of Paia, you come into an area that we call Haiku. Haiku is some portions over here we call it dry ku. They don't have a lot of daily rain. A little bit more of some nice trade winds in there, and then we do have portions of Haiku that are literally in rainforest, so they're raining all the time. And as we come along Hana Highway here, start getting through the 52 bridges and all the different curves as we come into Hana. So Keanai is a big peninsula in here. It was a large Hawaiian village. There's a lot of lo'ikalo down in there, taro patches. Come to Nahiku, and then finally you come to Hana. And you can just turn right around when you go to Hana and just go back the way that you want to. But a lot of people like to go all the way around, so they stay on this road here. And we go from Garden of Eden to absolute moonscape over here. This area past Kaupo is one of the areas that had one of the newest lava flows, if you would. This still happened hundreds of years ago, but new in terms of it just hasn't been broken down by the elements and turned to green areas of Maui. Kind of looks like a moonscape in here. It stays along the coastline until we get up into this area here. And this is the McKenna area, but now it starts to slope back up into the Ulupalakua upcountry area. And if you do that trip, you actually come around this way and you end up right back down here. So that's what's going on there. Hana, people do choose to live in Hana. Jim Neighbors lived in Hana. Oprah had her start in Hana. What was the Beatles? George something or other. He had a home out here as well. It is definitely Fortress of Solitude. Charles Lindbergh is actually buried out here in Hana. So that's a historical element. So there is real estate out here. It's just you're out in the boonies, and for some people, they love that lifestyle. There is an airport, so about half an hour you can actually fly into Wailuku if you wanted to there. But Hana is a very special place. Very much feels like old style Hawaiian life still going on there. Very, very slow paced. There are some people that live out here in Kaupo. And then also we already talked about Kula, etc. So I didn't talk about this area here. Just know sometimes, guys, when you fly into the airport and you put in your hotel on the west side into Google Maps, it may want to take you on this road because it could be technically closer. But this is a very, very interesting road. Interesting in that it turns into one lane at certain times.
Kind of exciting.
Blind corners. It is very exciting. My wife loves it. She thinks it's the best ride in the world. I hate it. I panic on there. I don't like it. I get stressed out.
When you drive such a big truck, then it kind of makes sense. But
Dude, I had to take clients this way one time. I picked them up here in Wailea. We were looking at Kaanapali. They left their 10-year-old kid with their 17-year-old daughter. And I made the comment to them, we call this area right here the Pali. So when you're driving along the Pali, I shared with them, hey, sometimes we'll have a wreck that happens in this area, and we won't be able to come back this way. Sometimes we have to rush if we're lucky, and we'll go the backside. And we absolutely had to do it that day. Dude, it was sketchy, but we got them home, man. So that's what we do. That's all I've got for my little explanation of living on Maui. I hope that was helpful to you. If you have any specific questions about that, we are definitely reading the comments and we will reply in one form or another.
Yeah, if you want further information on any of those spots, further insight, I'm more of a South Side guy. Johnny's more of a West Side guy. Like he said, it kind of comes down to your preference. It kind of depends on what you like, and if you want that close access to town, it's a little bit different over on the West Side. So lots to think about, and a lot of great options either way you look at it. Appreciate you joining in. Mana Monday in the Maui Hot List.
On Mondays. There it is. Aloha, everybody. Aloha. Take care.